¿Qué tal, mis queridos casitas libertarios? Aquí Mario, en un nuevo vídeo. Y bueno, hoy quería tocar un tema muy especial. Pues el aclamado profesor Jordan Peterson, del psicólogo canadiense, está a punto de perder su licencia al no querer someterse a un curso de la educación autorizado por la Asociación de Psicólogos de Ontario, Canadá. Y bueno, ellos refieren que si el profesor Peterson no se somete a estos cursos de educación, no podrá ejercer ni trabajar como psicólogo. Acompáñame en este video para mostrarte por qué, bajo mi punto de vista, la educación no debería estar bajo el control del poder estatal. Todos conocemos de sobra el trabajo encomiable que hace Jordan Peterson por exponer a la izquierda radical, ¿no? En las universidades, en los institutos en Europa, ¿no? Sobre todo Estados Unidos, Inglaterra y Australia, ¿no? Donde mayormente el profesor Peterson se ha visto envuelto en esos escándalos propiciados obviamente por la izquierda radical, ¿no? Ya que el profesor Peterson, con una expertise increíble, expone con facilidad los débiles argumentos de este grupo de gente que solamente es movilizada por sus pasiones y su corto raciocinio de sus ideas.
And we have to be able to say what we have to say badly, or we won't be able to think at all.
Do you have any comments on the Nazi presence at your protest? The presence of Nazis and white supremacists assaulting people at your protest. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I don't like Nazis.
Then why are you?
Why were they here?
Well, how can I answer that?
Are their views in alignment with yours?
At some point you
I
have to
think that's
realize,
a foolish question. Look, if you want to know what my views are,
I've watched all of your videos. Yes.
including
Yes, I have.
then why would you ask such a question?
Because this is my interpretation of your videos.
Apparently,
That's
I wanted
not-
All of the people who arranged the protest against you watched all of your videos.
It's like, do you want to
I have
disavow?
150 videos on YouTube.
No, your
That's
lectures, which sparked the debate.
Okay.
Do
I
you
have
want to
150.
disavow the support?
Could you let
of
me
white-
talk to her for a moment?
Don't call me that, please.
So, I have 150 lectures on YouTube. There's 500 hours of my views.
Do you really
If
think that
wanna
you're
find
worth
out
all
what
of
they
that
were-
time?
So look, I will answer your question, okay? I've studied Nazism for a very long time. It's been 4 decades, and I understand it very well. And I can tell you that there's some awful people lurking in the corners, and they're ready to come out. And if the radical left keeps pushing the way
That
it's
sounds very
pushing,
much like a
they're
threat.
going to come.
That sounds very
It's
much
not
like a
threat.
threat. That sounds very much like a threat. Would you like to disavow the physical violence? Trans people were physically assaulted at this rally in your name. Would you like to disavow that violence?
Yes.
So you wish that didn't happen, and you want to,
Absolutely.
and I'm going to post this online that you would like people to not to be more accommodating of trans people and people of color at your events in future.
I would
I'm
like
a
there
person
to
of
be
color.
no
Listen,
violence.
I'm a person of color, and I felt very accommodating here. I felt like my voice. Thank you very much.
I'm also former Muslim, and I feel like this guy's
I'm a
the
person
best.
of color.
I
There are
love
many
his
Muslim
videos.
color.
You wanted to
All
disavow.
agreement.
You wanted to disavow, and this is the disavow. I am not an advocate of violence. I'm speaking out the way I'm speaking out because I think this is a route to no violence. And violence is lurking. And you can say that that sounds like a threat.
There was
It's
no
not a
violence at
threat.
our protest, though. There was violence at your protest. So what does that say about our views?
It's not my
That's
protest.
violence.
And you know,
I
asking me continually freighted questions isn't very helpful if you
riot
actually
and
want to have a
say it's all
dialogue. You have no idea if I'm your enemy. You have no idea about me.
You won't
know
use my
nothing.
pronouns, so I'm pretty sure you're my enemy. Yes.
Yeah, well, I know you think that, but I don't believe that using your pronouns is going to do you any good in the long run. I think it'll do quite the contrary.
What the?
Is that your medical
Like,
opinion?
what, is that your medical opinion? Like, you
I'm
are
not a
aware that
doctor.
non-binary people are valid in the American Psychological
This isn't about
Association.
non-binary.
Is that your opinion?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's about non-binary pronouns.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
I'm saying that that's
Did
what
you
I'm
come to the
about.
rally? Were you there when I spoke?
I've been here for this whole thing.
Okay, well, I don't know that. It's a genuine question. Look, I think that's what's happening is that we're pushing over a line we shouldn't cross. The newest legislation is requiring people to use.
But you are aware that that's being put in place so that we can't get fired. We need to be written into the Canada human rights legislation, or we can be fired for our gender identity.
I'm not aware of that.
Well, then why did you make a fucking video about it? I've been denied housing as a trans person. These rights would protect me.
Denied housing?
I've been denied housing.
From the state or for the open market? So have you been denied housing, like From the government?
It's illegal either way
government?
if we had
From the
human
government?
rights.
From the government?
I'm not-
Or have you tried to get a house like everybody else and they said, no, you're weird, you can't work? No, if the state's done that, that's a problem.
They said,
but if someone doesn't want to live with you, that's their right.
They said, no, you're
I'm really not
trans.
sure how you-
So no, if I had human rights, that wouldn't have fucking happened.
far
Yeah,
as
you're
I'm
weird.
concerned,
I don't want to live with schizophrenic
As far as
people.
I'm
I don't want to live
concerned,
with people with
that's a
bipolar.
terrible
I don't
thing.
wanna live with
It's too bad that that's happened.
So you don't want us to, but you don't want us to have protections in the human rights bill that will allow me to have employment,
I don't
allow
want-
me to have housing security,
I don't want-
allow me to have medical care. That's what this is about.
That's
It's
what
not
you
about
think it's
infringing
about.
on your rights or making you learn a new fucking pronoun.
I don't think that's what it's about. What evidence do you have that attempting to transform the way that people use pronouns is going to produce a positive effect on
Because
society?
are you aware that there is a trans boy who killed himself in psychiatric care recently because he was continuously being misgendered by his care workers?
And that is my precise problem.
And there have been multiple recorded instances of trans people killing themselves because they are not being integrated into society. We are not looking for special treatment. We are looking to be able to integrate ourselves into society. And if you refuse to refer to us by our pronouns, which is not allowed to ask, singular they pronouns go all the way back to Shakespeare. It's not a new thing. If you refuse to let us integrate ourselves into society, you create alienation that results in suicide. We are in a suicide epidemic right now. What are you contributing?
Podemos recordar sus entrevistas con Cathy Newman, una defensora feminista en la BBC, que fue genial.
Let me put something else to you from the book. You say the introduction of the equal pay for equal work argument immediately complicates even salary comparison beyond practicality for one simple reason. Who decides what work is equal? It's not possible. So the simple question is, do you believe in equal pay?
Well, I made the argument there. It's like it depends on
So
who
you don't
defines
believe
it.
in equal pay?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Because a lot of people listening to you will just say, I mean, are we going back to the
That's
dark
because
ages
they're actually
here?
not listening.
I'm
They're just
listening very
projecting
carefully,
what
and I'm
they think.
hearing you basically saying women need to just accept they're never going to make it on equal terms, equal outcomes is how you defined it.
No, I didn't
If I
say
was
that.
a young
I said
woman
that equal...
watching that, I would go, well, I might as well just go and play with my Cindy dolls
I
and
didn't
give up
say
trying
that.
at school because I'm not going to get the top job I want because
said
there's
that
someone
e-
sitting there saying it's not possible,
I
and it's
said
not
that
desirable,
equal
it's going to make
outcomes
you
aren't
miserable.
desirable. That's what I said. It's a
Yeah,
bad
it's not
social
desirable.
goal. I didn't say that women shouldn't be striving for the top or anything like that, because I don't believe that for a second.
Striving for the top, but you're going to put all those hurdles in their way, as has been in their way for centuries, and that's fine. You're saying that's fine.
No, I really
The
think that's-
patriarchal
I
system
really
is
think
just
that's
fine.
silly. I do. I think that's silly. I really do. I mean, look at your situation. You're hardly unsuccessful.
Yeah, and I have
How do
battled
you
quite
manage
hard
it?
to get where I've got to.
Exactly. Good
So that's
for you.
okay. Battling is good. This is all
It's
about the
inevitable.
fight. But you talk about men
Why
fighting. I mean,
would
let me
you-
just put another thing to you from the book.
Why
You're
wouldn't
saying
you have to
real-
battle for a high-quality position?
Let me move on to another debate that's been very controversial for you. And this is, you got in trouble for refusing to call trans men and women by their preferred personal pronouns.
No,
I want to
that's
ask-
not actually true. I got in trouble because I said I would not follow the compelled speech dictates of the federal and provincial government. I actually never got in trouble for not calling anyone anything.
Right.
That didn't
You
happen.
wouldn't follow the change of law, which was designed
Not
to
once it was
outlaw
law.
discrimination.
No.
Why
Well,
should
that's
your...
what they said it was designed to do.
Okay, you cited freedom of speech in that. Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
Well, I'm very glad I put you on the spot.
Well,
I'm
you
very
get
glad that I have
but you get
exercised my freedom of
point.
speech.
You get my point. It's like you're doing what you should do, which is digging a bit to see what the hell's going on.
So
and
do
that is
you-
what you should do. But
And
you're
you
exercising
think-
your freedom of speech to certainly risk offending me. And that's fine. I think more power to you as far as I'm concerned.
So you haven't sat there and I'm just trying to work that out. I mean,
Ha, gotcha.
you have got me. I'm trying to work
about
that through in my
time.
head. Yeah, it took a while.
La entrevista que tuvo con también una defensora feminista y de los derechos del abecedario, Helen Lewis.
The doctrines that I'm opposed to are predicated on, well, one assumption they're predicated on, it's probably the primary assumption, is that the best way to view history is as the domination of a tyrannical male patriarchy, and that's true also particularly of the West, which is a doctrine I find absolutely unpalatable and historically absurd, biologically ridiculous, and ungrateful, among other things.
Who's ungrateful, sorry, in that? Who is being ungrateful?
Look at what you have.
Right.
You live in the best society that's ever been created. You know, I was reading about some Indonesians.
Do you mean me as a woman or me as a 21st
us.
century person in the world?
I mean us, yeah.
I'm incredibly grateful for what I have, but to me the
Then how
project
is
of
it
politics
a
is...
construction of a tyrannical patriarchy? You're grateful for the productions of a tyrannical patriarchy. How does that make sense?
Because I think life is good, I think it could be better. That's what being
fine.
a progressive
That's a perfectly
means.
reasonable proposition.
But I guess
that isn't commensurate with your claim that you're the beneficiary of a tyrannical patriarchy.
Why not?
How can it be good if it's the consequence of a tyrannical patriarchy? Tyranny isn't good, is it? I mean, that's the definition of tyranny. Something that isn't good, and yet it's produced all these things that you're grateful for. Like, doesn't that contradiction bother you? Where did what was good come from?
I think I'm benefiting actually from a lot of things that I don't support, that are unearned privileges in my life. I think that's absolutely true.
Like your job?
Like I have a very good job. I had a loving family. Well, I don't think that's going to do the world any good, is it?
That's a hell of a fine rationalization for your privileged position.
Oh well, fair enough. But if
you could trade it off with someone who's less privileged,
I
that'd
could.
be a start.
I could do that, but I don't want to, and I won't, and I don't think I should be expected to.
Why not? Is it okay for you to occupy a position of privilege in the patriarchal tyranny? And if it is it because you're female, or is it just because it's convenient?
También el profesor Peterson es muy conocido por oponerse a la cuasi dictadura del mandatario, el primer ministro de Canadá, Justin Trudeau, ya que todo el mundo sabe que Justin Trudeau ha venido tomando decisiones en cuanto a libertades individuales en Canadá realmente nocivas, que afectan la libertad de las personas en Canadá, ¿no? Y cómo esto ha ido escalando en educativo y cómo ha ido afectando esto a las personas, a los adolescentes y niños en Canadá y docentes que se oponen a este tipo de enseñanzas. Y bueno, el profesor Peterson refiere que todo este ataque mediático que está recibiendo y esta amenaza de pérdida de su licencia es porque es una presión política, ya que ha sido una piedra en el zapato en lo que es el gobierno de Justin Trudeau. El profesor Peterson refiere que esta asociación, este college de psicología de Ontario, ha estado recibiendo muchísimo financiamiento público a través del gobierno. ¿Y por qué es peligroso que el Estado controle la educación? Pues sencillo, el Estado es quien te da el título. Todo título es entregado al nombre de una nación, sea la nación que sea, siempre está el nombre de aquella nación. ¿Y qué es lo que implica? ¿Por qué es un peligro que el Estado controle ese tipo de cosas en educación? Que si bien te puede permitir o te da la autorización para ejercer tu profesión, si algún día le eres fastidioso al Estado, pues como el Estado te dio el permiso, como el Estado te dio la certificación, el Estado te la puede quitar. Y esto senta un mal precedente para todos aquellos o todas las personas que ose atacar la decisión de un Estado. Y cuán peligroso es de verdad que un Estado cualquiera tenga el poder de controlar o decidir cuándo, dónde o con quién enseñas tu curso. Es por ello que nosotros los libertarios nos abogamos a promover una educación libre. Ya no tendría que depender de un Estado, dependería de una empresa privada que pueda emitir los certificados, que ésta tenga que méritos propios por tener que quedarse al satisfacer o al hacer un excelente trabajo, ya que vendría otra empresa y tendría que competir en quién da los mejores certificados y quién protege mejor la licencia de su cliente. No es tal cual, pero al Estado jamás le gustará este tipo de cosas porque la educación es su mayor titiritero en la mente de los individuos, en la mente de los niños, adolescentes y también, ¿por qué no?, adultos. Espero que el profesor Peterson, como ha referido en el podcast que tiene con su hija Micaela, dice que se niega a tomar este curso de la educación. Espero que el profesor Peterson pueda mantener ese espíritu de lucha, ese espíritu aguerrido que siempre ha mostrado desde aquí, pero que el profesor Peterson no claudique, porque la presión social, la presión mediática que esto está teniendo está afectando mucho al profesor Peterson, y como él también refiere en el podcast, se siente preocupado, y es algo que no se esperaba que llegase a este punto. Pero también el profesor Peterson dice, bueno, si me quitan la licencia podré ejercer en Florida. Creo y espero que el profesor Peterson llegue a la conclusión lógica: no es que te puedas mover a un estado y que el estado te pueda permitir o no ejercer. El problema es que el estado no puede tener tal poder, y espero realmente que el profesor Peterson pueda mostrar que un individuo es mucho más fuerte que la presión de un estado. Espero realmente que el profesor Peterson no se rinda, porque esto sentaría un mal precedente. El que el profesor Peterson se rinda sería como darle la razón al Estado de que con control y con poder puede generar la destrucción mediática pública de una persona que no esté de acuerdo a su ideología, ya sea de centro, izquierda o derecha. Los gobiernos son lo mismo. Y bueno, hasta acá el video. Espero que les haya gustado, haya sido mucho de su agrado. Si sí, por favor, no te olvides de compartir y darle like, que eso me ayudaría muchísimo a que más gente se entere de todo lo que está pasando y de lo dañino que es que el Estado controle la educación. Me puedes seguir en mis redes sociales de Twitter, Facebook e Instagram, que estarán apareciendo en cualquier momento en la pantalla. Ahí estoy bien activo, discutiendo con izquierda, derecha, porque para mí los políticos son todos iguales. También, si me quieres dar alguna donación voluntaria a este canal, puedes hacerlo a través de el QR de mi Yape si eres de Perú, o si eres de cualquier parte del mundo, puedes usar el PayPal. Y bueno, como digo, mis cositas libertarios, recuerden que, como digo siempre, los hombres libres siempre se ponen ante los tiranos. ¡Viva la libertad!